Today's class we shall see about networking layer. So we shall see what all is there in that. We shall see the different types of networks and what is inside a router. Then what are the different protocols, what are the different algorithms of routing. So we shall see one by one. So first thing, you have to see what are the different functions. If we see here, we have the protocols. Basically we have internet protocol, which is IP. And then we have ICMP, which is a control protocol, and then we have routing protocols, is based on different algorithms. So if we see here, this is the format of IP datagram. So IP packets have a format. So the main thing is the source and destination address should be there. That is a 32-bit address, and then the data. So before that, so much overhead is there. So these overhead define the type of algorithm, the checksum and all that. So this IP data is not just sent as one single whole byte, it is sent in fragments. So that is what we know, that it gets assembled on the other side. So if you see here, the entire packet, it tells you how many bytes are there, what is the length, but on the receiving side it has to be taken back in that format. So one main concept in this networking is about IP addressing. We should know where it has to go. So every device will have its own address and they are interconnected by some base station. So from there the routers will define, and it will tell you what is the different addresses. So basically, if you are from one institution, you will have some number in common, which is an institutional address, that we see it from DNS. So these are subnets. So these are examples of how different types of nets are also involved. Once a small network is formed, that is called as a subnet. So this is a basis on which the addresses are formed. If you see here, you have the organizations numbered. So that number alone varies from organization to organization. So how does one get an address? So basically, when you try to get a mobile phone, you get a number. Similar way, when you try to get an internet connection, you get an address. You call it as an IP address. So how do you get it? There is an organization called as ICANN, which is nothing but Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. So they maintain the domain names, and DNS is the domain name service. So based on that, they have categorized it for each type of organization, that is .org, there is .corp, .edu. So every institution has a standard number. So this is these are just data on how it communicates with the client, how the protocol works. So you can analyze the working. If you have Wireshark, you can just install it. It is a software which tells you how the packets are being sent. So now we come to network address translation. So this translates your name. Basically, you just write karnya.edu, but then it has to get transformed to the particular number. So that is called as network translation. So it happens in the router level, and we call it as network address translation. So there are also problems where sometimes a reversal also happens. So now we come to the different protocols of IPv6 and ICMP. So if you take this ICMP, there is a standard. This is a protocol for messaging, because it is internet control message. So there is a format for that, and you can also see how it is communicating with the different networks. So IPv6 is again an internet protocol. It is meant for addressing, but it has got more data size. So we have IPv4 and IPv6. So if you just check in your mobile, you just put what is my IP address, it will give you a format, and it will say whether it is IPv4 or IPv6. So this is the format of IPv6. So In what way it is different from IPv4 and IPv6? You can find it from this.